How many? Let me ask you guys. How many of y'all code switch every day? Who's
We
like?
all do.
Most
Whether
people.
you call it that or not, whether you realize you're
Whether
doing it
you
or
call
not,
it or
we
not.
code
That's
switch.
right, brother.
Really? You think so?
I do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm gonna
Because
give you the
because
easiest one. You curse a lot, right?
yeah.
You
Well,
got when
not
you
a
say
lot. Not a lot. I just curse. I don't. I
when
wouldn't say I
you
curse a lot. Not like I did when I was in the military. I've chilled out.
if your mama, grandma, sister, auntie were in the room, would you curse the same way around them?
Not my mom. Not.
Isn't that code switching?
Nah, I don't think so. No, I don't think that's code switching. That's
I
just
mean, you can call it
that's just showing
respect. You
that's just showing
respect.
respect. That's showing respect. I think there's a
I,
difference
let me
between
let me read
code
the
switching.
definition.
Yeah, pull up. Yeah, read the definition.
So it
'Cause
says
I don't think
code.
it's the same.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tyra. Finish.
No,
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying I don't think it's the same. But go ahead. Go ahead.
So code switching is the act of changing our behavior, including speech, dress, and mannerisms, to conform to a different cultural norm that than what we might authentically do in our own homes. We all do it to some extent. Some examples of code switching is um like what he said, you curse a lot, the way you dress, the way you wear your hair, most commonly seen with African Americans
Mm.
I mean,
in the
it is
working.
what it is. I mean, we were forced to code switch when we came over here.
Well, okay. So yeah. So, but that's like at the point of a whip and threat of death. I think the code switching, modern code switching, is a little bit different. It's a little bit lighter than that. That's just like your name is
Lighter how? Light as a rock. What are you talking about?
yeah, way lighter. Like nobody's going. Your job now. Your job is not going to hang you up and be like, "Come here, girl."
Well, you mean the consequences
Yeah, the
of
consequences is
not
way
okay, okay,
lighter.
okay. I
Yeah,
thought
they
you meant
ain't.
code switch. Yeah, okay. Yes, the
Yeah,
consequences are not as as
right,
yes.
right.
Okay.
But black folks be talking like they still like it's 1619 sometimes. They be like, we still slave. No, you're not a slave. Nobody is hanging you up. Now you may feel a way, but nobody. It's way
Yeah,
different.
but you're doing two different comparisons. If I've never experienced being whipped, this might be my version of slavery to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not being funny. I'm just saying. Because
Yeah,
let's go, well, they were hung and they were lynched and blah, 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 right? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Not taking that away because that was I'm not trying to do none of that, right?
Right.
However, that doesn't mean that someone who's experiencing it now does not feel the same weight of that if they have, hey, everywhere I go, I can't get a job because of my locks, or everywhere I go, when I speak in my ebonics or my slang or whatever you want to call it, they tell me I'm not qualified. That weight may look different, but it's still heavy for them.
Yeah.
So, like, minimizing what we are experiencing current times is not
Yeah.
always the best way to move forward. I'm just saying, yes,
Yeah.
it's not the same, but it's not
Yeah.
always.
I hear you, but I just when I study history, just the hell of those times are just way better now.
So we're considering code switching in the sense of assimilation. That's what I'm hearing.
That's
Because
what it sounds like. Yeah.
what? I'm sorry.
That's what it sounds like. Now,
No.
y'all rose y'all's hand. I don't. So if it comes to code switching, I don't think I code switch. I'm probably like 95% not code switching. Like most of the time at my job, they get black ass Tyrone. Just
But is your school a black ass school?
no, it's not,
Oh, okay.
and that's the fun part. I revel in it. I love it. I enjoy it. And I've been so for example, my area. So no, I'm down in Charlotte, which is a bubble, which it's not really like the rest of North Carolina. The rest of North Carolina is a lot of red hats and go get 'em. But
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 that's why
so
your experience is isolated.
but I'm in the suburb. I'm in like Mint Hill. So there are some red hats in Mint Hill, and they kind of showed it to me. because I wore like a Malcolm X shirt one day, and I was in car riding line. I'm like waving cars, come on, waving cars, and then later that day, it's like, boop, Coach Knox, please come to the office. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, what's going on? And they're like, well, we got a lot of parent complaints. Somebody went to the superintendent. They went wait till the superintendent complained. You had a Malcolm X shirt on, and I was like,
Man, I'd have wore a Marcus Garvey shirt the
I
next
was
day.
like, yeah, if you could just wear solid colored shirts, and from now on, that would be great. And I was like, no, we're not appeasing racists, are we? Oh, no. And then so eventually they left me alone because I had to explain that the same way that person can bring some heat to you, oh, I can bring heat to you too. Okay, we're not going to appease racists. But yeah, so I didn't stop wearing my shirts. I wear all kinds of shirts, Malcolm X. I do wear some Marcus Garvey. I wear them all. All right.
Yeah, I think your situations are exactly the way you describe where you come from, a bubble. It is not the average African American does not experience that. That's me being real.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's why I enjoy not code switching like that, because they get me. I don't lighten my voice. I don't smile lecture to make people comfortable. You know, it just doesn't happen. You get me, you get black ass Tyrone.
But I believe you build up the cachet to be able to do that. That's not the norm.
It's not.
Because like even when I was a teacher, like that's part of the reason I'm not a teacher anymore, because it got to the point where it wasn't even fun anymore. Well, not that wasn't fun. I was teaching so I could coach, and then I didn't want to coach anymore.
Yeah.
So then that's why I went to the military. But part of that was like, let me do my thing. Quit trying to micromanage me. Like, am I like, if I'm doing something wrong, tell me I'm doing something wrong. But the fact that I'm not doing anything wrong and you're just nitpicking it, and I'm sitting here got a grin and bear it, and I'm like, what am I doing? I lie to you not. True story. This is the set. You see my locks right now, right?
Yep.
Second set of locks. The first set I cut right before I went to the Army. When I first started growing them, my principal said the craziest thing to me. They were like, starter locks. He walks up to me with the most peculiar look on his face, like my hair was on fire. And he asked me, well, does it hurt? And I'm like, what do you mean does it hurt? And I was like, nah. Now, black ass Willis could have been like, what you mean do my hair hurt? Like, what are you telling me? What are you asking me right now? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in the school set and what I'm thinking, I couldn't say it. I couldn't react the way I really had the right to in my mind.
Okay.
So it was just like, and then mind you, this is like year 2 or 3 of me teaching, and I taught 6.5 years. So that was the beginning of the end already, that early on in my career.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then different parents you got to deal with a different way. You got to switch it up. Like literally, I could talk to the young black boys at the school like they're my little brothers. Never had no problems. The girls, you had with some kid gloves sometimes, but then when you had like other parent, let's say that didn't look like us, that felt like they were well-to-do or they were more well-off than the other ones, you kind of had to talk to them like on a different level, and I had to remind them quite a few times, hey, I got my master's degree. Don't talk to me like I'm stupid right now.
So when you talk to them different, how do you talk to them different?
I lead with education. I lead with my qualifications in education, so they know they ain't gonna talk to me no kind of way.
You ain't change the tone of your voice, did you? Because some people,
as I'm the way I talk right now, the way I'm talking to everybody right now, this is just my normal everyday cadence, talk, whatever, speech pattern like that. I've caught myself, and people have said like, the 104 boys when we with the fellas, like I sound like I get real ignorant, country, whatever like that. But when I'm kind of like in a relaxed setting, if I'm in a relaxed setting, it's real like, hey man, I can't even do it on purpose right now because it's like in the setting
A
we're in,
natural thing.
Yeah.
it's just a natural thing that I am. But like this is how I naturally come off on people. And
Yeah.
then, but when I'm like when I have the brief or I'm talking in an official capacity, I don't change my tone of voice. I just because I know my speech pattern could get slurred if I'm relaxed.
Mhm.
I'll almost over enunciate like T.I. would or something sometimes just to make sure like like I stop saying oh, like when I'm trying to say zero, I would specifically say zero.
Yes.
That's like a conscious decision I made, or certain words just I would make sure. So that's a switch for me. But if I'm relaxed or I'm talking, I'm cool and chilling, like you've heard me talk like that before. You just not it's not clicking with you before right now.
I think everyone does it, whether you are conscious of it or not. Just like when you pick up the phone, you're not like, yo, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. Everyone does it to an extent. It may be for different reasons. And even though, again, you haven't experienced it, African Americans are 3 times more likely to code switch than any other culture on a regular basis. I also think that code switching is more apparent at times in women than in men, because you can still be like, I'm being strong, I'm leading with my education most of the time, and you were talking about your experience. So for myself, code switching for me even happens being policed in my silence. If you're not bubbly and going and you're just sitting there quiet, it's she's upset, she's angry, she's things like that. So you gotta put your Becky on, and yes, speak slow. Listen, speak slowly. Yes, put your education first, but that's an assumption that I'm not a part of my education. My education is not a part of me. Why do I have to put it first? Why can't I just come with the education that is now a part of me? Code switching, technically, if we want to break it down, is finding the tone for your audience that makes them comfortable, even if it makes you uncomfortable.
Okay, so y'all think there's a difference between? I think there's a difference between code switching and just being professional in your whatever you're doing. Because that to me it's 2 different things. Code switching to me, my thinking of it. So I remember being a kid. And this always bothered me too. Like, being a kid and being somewhere and people go, "You better act right. All these white folks in here." And I'll be like, damn, these white folks, what that got to do anything? So I always hate, y'all ever hear that growing up? I don't know if it's just it's like, like a lot of older people, because the condition of growing up in like our society, all these white folks in you acting up. And I would be so mad. I'll be so mad. Like,
you embarrassing me in front of all these white folk.
Like who are they? Like, who are they?
And you grew up down here, right? You grew up down south.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm saying no. Maybe just because I didn't grow up down south, so
yeah. It might be it may be a.
That's what I'm saying. It relates and goes into the whole ideology of assimilation. The concept of assimilation is to basically adapt and to fit in. This assimilation came out during the whole conversation of the melting pot. If anybody remembers that dialogue, umpteen thousand years ago. Actually like 20 plus years ago. So when with the concept of assimilation and you conducting yourself or carrying yourself in a certain manner in order to fit in with the majority, then yes, that's so when you speak about professionalism, I think that there is a difference between being respectful and being professional and code switching in the context, and I'm going to specifically say in the context of assimilation, because again, when we are assimilating, we are adapting or modeling ourselves in mirror form of the majority population. So with that being said, our tone, our cadence will be completely different. The way that I'm talking to you all right now is how I talk when I'm at work. Okay. And so, and I use my hands and I do this. Um, I try not to do too much of this because this is black.
Yes,
Okay. So, and I'm okay.
absolutely.
So again, and I've learned how to condition and train myself so that way when I'm talking, usually I have my hands like, and y'all probably have seen it on the show. I'll hold my hands like this in order to maintain um, m- myself. And so, um, even the young lady, Miss Jones, when she talked about the telephone, I know
Mhm.
for a fact because family and friends, I think Erica, excuse me, Pearl has heard me on the phone, and I will, yes, okay, no, no, that's not, no, that's not what I'm saying to you. So and like true story, that's why she's laughing.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying, and then I'll go right back to this. Yo, what the ham are y'all talking
Yeah.
about? So it's like, yes, we thank you, Pearl. You said it perfectly, love. We do it a lot. I know for a fact I'm guilty of it, and like you say, sometimes we're not even conscious of the fact of us doing it, and and maybe it depend on the sector
Mm.
of our workplace or the sector of industry that we actually work in and stuff like that, where you have to be able to tailor yourself because God forbid if you make someone uncomfortable, because see,
Mm.
when you start making
Mm.
people uncomfortable, then sometimes it can make you feel uncomfortable because they're going to try to leverage, if you will, which is why we have all this conversation about the Crown Act and all of these other things that are
Yeah.
coming, right? Because we are quote unquote making people uncomfortable, and God forbid we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So so yeah,
Nah, I
man,
want you to be uncomfortable.